the concepts. Last class we spoke about what is a table, right? And things like that. So we will go a little bit deeper into it today. So we know that the table consists of rows and columns, and combination of that is the one that what we get is the transactional data. So we have seen two types of data in Salesforce. One is called metadata. The other one is called the transactional data. Transactional data is like a customer data, right? Or accounts, contacts. These are all called the transactional data. But to run the application, Salesforce also makes use of, like when you create a field, when you create an object, when you create any of the validation rules, all those things are also stored in the database itself. So that is basically known as the metadata. Metadata, the definition is the data of the data is called the metadata. Okay. Now, whenever we create a table, single table alone will not work because there will be multiple tables in the application. So when we have multiple tables in the application, they all have to be related to one another. Okay. Now, this slide is significant. So let's go to that. So what type of relationships that what we have? Objects, you have one-to-one relationship. That means this is the generic notation what you follow. This is what you guys need to understand. One-to-one. What is one-to-one? Each country will have, most of the countries will have only one capital. There are a few countries in the world has got two capitals, depending upon like whether it is a summer or winter. Let's not take the exceptional cases, but each country will have one capital. That is called country table related to capital city table. Now, there is another relationship called one-to-many. The reverse of it is called many-to-one. What is one-to-many? A book has got many pages. This is the notation. Wherever the many side is there, you show it like this. A book has got many pages. That page will be there in that book. So if you traverse back from pages to book, a page will be there in only one book, that page. Whatever the page that you are looking at, that page can be there only in that book. But a book can have many pages. This is called one-to-many. When you traverse from book to pages, it is called one-to-many. When you traverse from pages to book, it is called many-to-one. Books and authors. A book, for example, Salesforce. Learn Salesforce. A book, similar type of a book, Learning Salesforce is a book, could have been written by many authors, right? Learning Salesforce. So author A, author B, author C can write the same name, but different authors. Similarly, an author can write many books. That means, for example, if you are an author, you know Salesforce, you know Python, you know Java, you can write many books. So this is called many-to-many relationship. Very important relationships. You have to understand this. If you don't understand and you move forward, it will be of waste of your time and everybody's time. And if you don't understand, you need to stop me now. If you don't understand, please stop me. I will be able to explain to you. Now, this is the representation of many-to-many relationship. But in reality, a many-to-many relationship cannot be created in schema, in the database. Thus, it is broken into this. That means whenever there is a many-to-many relationship, there will be a junction object that comes into the picture. This will be the question that will come, and a lot of people will ask the same question again and again. What is the junction object? Whenever you want to create many-to-many relationship between two tables, then there is a junction object that comes into the picture. That is the only way that you can create many-to-many relationship in any relational database. Here, what happens is a book has got many authors. An author can write many books. So the junction object is basically an object that has got two parents, either book or authors. Does it make sense, guys? If you don't understand, please stop me. Can you stop the presentation for the time being? Pause it, please. So junction object will contain the foreign key of the parent primary keys. What does that mean? Here, the junction object will contain the foreign key of the books, and also it will contain the foreign key of the authors. Okay. We'll see with an example, similar type of an example, what we have here. If you take a look at it, a job to a job, there can be many applicants, and to an applicant can apply to many jobs. So that's why you get a junction object. A junction object is called job applicant, and the junction object will have the primary key of the jobs and also the primary key of the applicants, which is nothing but the foreign key of the two parent tables. Does it make sense, guys? Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you have understood this junction object and what it contains, you will be able to move forward much easier. Okay. Now, there are certain terminologies that what you need to know is in Salesforce, a table is called an object, a row is called a record, a column is called a field, a view is a list view, data type is a field data type. So there are different types of relationship, one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many relationship. And one-to-one relationship, it is a single object or it can be two objects as what we have seen, country and capital. One-to-many relationship, the name one-to-many relationship, underneath the relationship, it is one-to-many relationship or many-to-one relationship. In Salesforce, it has got particular name. It is called either lookup relationship or master detailed relationship. Okay. Whenever somebody is talking about a lookup relationship, that means they are talking about one-to-many relationship. Whenever they are talking about a single master detailed relationship, they are also talking about one-to-many or many-to-one relationship. You have to remember, please make a note, have a pen and paper and remember this. Many-to-many relationship, you can create, normally it is created between two master detailed relationships, right? As I said, two parents, junction object will be there, or you can create through two lookups also, right? Very rarely they create it between two lookups, but normally it is created between two master detailed relationships. There is a special relationship which is called self relationship or hierarchical relationship, which is that relationship looks up to its own object. It is self-related, right? We will see the example. Example of the self relationship is either user object or account object and case objects, things like that, right? In Salesforce, you have to remember this. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, what are all the languages that are used in develop application? Normally Java, Python, and in Salesforce, we use LWC, which is nothing but Lightning Web Component, which a parallel session is happening, where you would make use of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Apex, right? These are the languages that what you use there. So Apex is the core language that is used, which is very close to Java. If you know Java, then you will be very comfortable to do the customization. If you do not know Java, then you have to pick up one of the languages or Apex itself, right? Which is very, very needed for you to do any customization, right? What is a customization? A customization is that your package that what you have given does not meet the business requirements. So you want to customize something for that application, for a particular user, right? For a particular client rather, not a user, right? That is what it is. So we have seen this architecture, MVC, model view controller. Model is nothing but contains the database, the S objects and Apex classes and all that stuff. View is nothing but the front end, UI, pages, components, like LWC, like HTML thing. That's what is known as the view thing. A controller is nothing but your Apex class and things like that, right? So model view controller, this is the way that it works, especially when you are using the Visual Force page, right? This is the way that it works. And when the user clicks something on the view, it goes to the controller. Controller will be talking to the view. Controller talks to the model. Model gives the reply back to the view, right? That's how you are able to, your page will get loaded. Okay. We will not go into this and okay. So generic tools that are used in Salesforce for requirement capturing, you use Jira. For design document, either Google document or MS Word. For version control, you will use GitHub, TFS, SVM. And for presentation, you will use the Google Slide and Microsoft PPT. So if you want to work in Salesforce, not as an admin, but as a developer, what should you know? You should know admin. There is no doubt about it. That is the fundamental. And on the top of that, you should know Apex, LWC, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. AngularJS is not needed. Aura might be needed, right? The first 6 of them is very important for you to, or 5 of them is very, very important for you to work as a developer, Salesforce developer. Okay. So with that, we will go into the org, right? And we'll see how to create a table. Okay, how to create a table, and then we will play with it. We'll go through some of the definitions of it. Okay, so now, how did I come? As soon as I log in, I come here. Otherwise, you can go to the setup, click setup. You come to this page. This is called the home page, setup home page. Okay. Now, once you come there, I told you there is something called an object manager. Okay. So the object manager is nothing but it contains all the objects. So the objects that come as part of the package, they are called the standard objects. The objects that you create right, for your needs is called the custom object. Okay, so the objects that come as part of the package is called the standard, and you create some new object, then it is called the custom object. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So all the custom objects will be, or custom fields, right, will be having underscore C as as a uh, as a normal thumb rule. Excuse me. So let me type in underscore. It's not showing anything. So if you take a look at it, how would I know? So the API name is underscore C. That means it is a custom object. Okay. So I will show it to you. Like, take an example, class Techila. Class Techila is my object name, and Techila class underscore Techila, and it appends underscore C is called a API name. What is API? API is nothing but application programming interface. This is the metadata. This is what it makes use of for its communication, for its internal purposes, right? So you got to be very careful when you are playing with your API names. You should try not to change the API names. Let me create quickly one object. So you go to the object manager, you click on create and custom object. Here, what you do is you basically give some name. I would give Techila training new. So, you give the name, you tap, it automatically, it did not give the plural name. It always needs this plural label. This is the label that will come as the tab. Okay. Techila trainings, right? So you give the name. This is the API name. If you take a look at it, it puts it as Techila underscore training, the same name, just that underscore. It does not put underscore C. Only when you save it, you get it. And the record name, what does that record name is? Okay, the record name is, whenever you create an object, you need to have the record name. Whatever the name that you are going to be giving, that we'll talk about this Techila record name when we show it to you. When I show it to you, you will understand this one. And what is the data type? The data type can be text or it can be auto number. What is the auto number? You can see the example. I want my Techila training name to start with Techila. You can play with all these things. I want it start with 001. Right? And no, you give the format here. You give the format here. You say that I want it to start from 1. Okay. So you can play with it, create an object, play with it. Okay. For the time being, I'm not going to take that one as the auto number. I'm going to take it as a text. Okay. Now, once you create that, then there are certain options which are basically the optional features. Allow reports, allow activities, track the field history, allow in chatter group. Allow report means it will create by default, it will create the reports for that. We will see that as an example later when we come to that. Allow activities, nothing but it creates the tasks and the events, right? So track field history is you want to start tracking the field history of certain fields that what you are creating, right? So, and then leave it deployed, and that's about it. So here, object creation available only when custom object is first created. Add notes and attachments to the related, if you want to add to the page layout. Launch new custom wizard after saving this custom objects. So we will leave it like this. We will come and see how this object is going to be available, right? We are creating something called an object. So Techila training new. Okay, and save it. So you can see that the API name is Techila training new _ C. It is created, and when you come and take a look at it, fields, an object, whenever an object is created, a new or custom object is created, these are the 4 fields that automatically, 3 fields, right? This is our name, that what we have given. This is the 3 fields that will automatically get created. Created by, we will talk about it, lost, modified by, and the owner. Very important thing to remember, this will be your interview question, right? So there will be 3 fields: created by, lost, modified by, and the owner. These are the 3 fields that will get created whenever an object is created. And this is the field that what we gave, and the 4th will be the name that what we have created, right? It can be ID also, but for our example, it makes sense to take the name as the field. Does it make sense, guys? You have to remember certain things. This is how you create an object is created. Okay. So we have seen how many tabs can be there in an app. Question to you people. How many tabs can be there?
N number of tabs.
N number of tabs.
N number.
And each tab, in how many applications it can be available?
Any number of applications.
It can be available on any number of applications. Okay. And underneath each tab, there will be only one object. That you have to remember. Now, if you go back and take a look at it, what happens is, if you go to sales or anything like that, you will not see the tab Techila training new tab. It will not be available. Neither it is available here, nor it is available in the navigation bar. It will not be available. You can go and search for that. You can create your own, and it will not be available. How do I attach it, right? How do I create it? So what you need to do is, you need to go to the home. You need to click on tab, because that page is not available, right? Once you click on tab, you will get it. You will get tabs. You create, hit on tabs here, and here you can say new tab and object, whatever the object that you want to create. So that is the Techila training new is the object. You have to give some tab styling. That is the mandatory field. So I will say bottle. Okay. And then you say next. So what are we doing? We are basically created an object. And now we want to see how that object page is going to look like. That is what we are doing. So we are associating the tab to an application. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So don't worry about this at this point of time. Apply one tab visibility to all profiles. Default is on. So what you need to do is, if you want to take, we will say default is on and off. That means whether the tab should be available, should be visible or not. So for the time being, let us leave it like this. So here you can say default is on. That means the tab will be visible. Default is off. The tab will not be visible at all. And the tab is hidden. For the time being, it will be hidden. If you want to make it, if you want to go and take a look at it or get it, you can be able to get it. For the time being, I'm going to leave it as tab. Default tab is on for all the users. So I have logged in as a system admin, but I'm giving it as default is on for all the users. And you click next. And now you say that choose the custom apps for which. So in which app this tab should be visible. Okay. So for me, it is in the sales app, but for the time being, I'm going to leave everything. So I want this tab to be visible in all applications. These are all the applications that what I have. So I want this to be visible in all applications, and I will say save. And once you create it, it will create, you can see somewhere it would have put Techila trainings new. Are you able to see this?
Then the bottom, Techila trainings.
What is that?
Techila trainings.
Techila training. No, Techila training is, yeah, Techila trainings, correct. Techila trainings is the plural that what we have given, correct. And a bottle, I remember bottle giving. So that is what it is showing there. Okay. So now you go back to your sales. And let's take a look at it in the navigation bar. Yeah, can you stop the recording, please, for the time being? Manu, are you there? Okay. Testing objects, Techilas. Trainings. Okay. Let's go to you got to go to the app manager, and let me see whether I can be able to see it here. Edit.
So are you sharing your screen?
1 second. I'm not sharing it at this point of time.
Okay.
Techila trainings is there. Selected items. Okay. Let me share my screen. You're able to see my screen? So Techila trainings is there as the selected item in the navigation items. But when I come here, it is not showing. I will see. Let me log out and log back in sometimes. Otherwise, I'll come back to this later. I don't want to. I don't know why it is not showing. I'm just logging out. Okay, log back in. Yeah. So when I log out and log back in, you can see that the Techila trainings has come. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes.
right? And when you create new, so this is the Techila training new name that what you have given. So let's say that first batch. I have not created any fields. This is how the screen, we will play with the screens later. And when you go back and go and take a look at Techila trainings, the Techila training name will come as the first batch. Now, if I create first, second batch and save it, and you go back here, you take a look at it, it will show. It will come as a URL pointer, the name that what you have given, and that is how it will look like. Does it make sense? So when you go and click on it, what is this page is called? This page is called detail page. Guys have to remember this. When I go and click on edit, this is called the edit page. So now, if you take a look at it, these are the three fields that were created automatically. So what is created by? Created by says who created this record? Who is the user? Who created this record? Owner is a very, very, very important. In Salesforce, please remember, there is no record that will exist without having a owner. Owner is who owns the record. Sometimes it can be the creator who created the record will own, or it can be somebody else who can own the record. Last modified by who is the owner, not who is the owner, who is that modified the record. Very important, these three fields. Any questions, please? Do you want me to repeat? I will repeat it again. If you have not understood this concept, it will be very difficult for you to do programming or admin or any of the security.
Sir, can you once again repeat? Owner should be the who is created the owner, right?
No, owner can be anybody. Okay, I will show it to you here. So now if you take a look at it, here is the owner, right? Owner, because I am the owner, I created it, it is showing it as owner. But if you can come and you click change the owner, now I can change the owner to, we will come to this. So there is only one owner because it is private, it is not given to any profile or anything like that, it's not giving. Otherwise, I can change the owner. The owner is who owns the record. I will show it to you in a different record. Okay, because this record, the reason is here, this object is available only to the system administrator. That's why it's not showing. I will show it to you here. So I have come to the accounts and I have come to the accounts detail. If you take a look at it, account owner is Magalam Suresh. I click here on this and click here on users. I don't know why. Why is it not showing many owners? Okay. When we come to that, I will show it to you. I don't want to. So you think that owner is the person who owns the record.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Okay.
So here created by is the person who created the record. This will never change once it is done, because only one time you can create the record. Modified by, it can change because I created it. Your good name, please?
Sandeep.
Sandeep. Sandeep can modify it. Sandeep is also user. Then last modified by will be Sandeep. And the owner does not have to be, the owner can still be Magalam Suresh. Correct? or it can be Sandeep, or it can be somebody else. Okay.
Yeah.
So one thing that you have to remember is in Salesforce, there will not be any record that will exist without a owner. These three fields are very, very important fields. Does it make sense, guys? Okay. So now we saw how we created an object and how we attached the object to an application through a tab, and how easily the page is created. We will play with it a little bit more, and we'll go back to the object manager. Now, when you go to the object manager, there is something known as, Manu, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was calling for you. That's fine. So there is something called a schema builder. A schema builder is nothing but a pictorial representation of the objects and the relationships are shown, right? Which will make the user to read it easily. Schema builder is one of the ways that either you can create an object or you can see the relationships here. So if you are able to see my screen properly, now here you can see one is called the lookup relationship. The red one is called the master detail relationship. Then the red single line is called the required field, right? This is called the lookup relationship. Account has got a lookup relationship with the contact. Account has got the lookup relationship with the opportunity. Account has got self relationship and also the master detail relationship within itself, right? This is what is known as the schema builder. Okay. Does it make sense, guys? So schema builder is nothing but the pictorial representation of the objects in the system that you have selected and the relationship that it shows between them. You can be able to create an object from here and things like that, but normally you don't do it from here. You basically go and do it from the object manager itself. So I'm going to go back to the object manager and we will talk about the basic terminologies. So we already saw what is the object level equivalent, like a database, and a database is nothing but, right, a table, and the object is called the table. And we have seen the field attributes such as columns in the table. There can be standard objects or the custom objects, and the records are nothing but, we saw first batch, second batch, those are called the records. That's what you have seen. And then there is something called a master detail and lookup relationship, right? That we will be talking later. Now, whenever an object is created, we said the owner is a very, very important thing. There are two concepts that what you need to understand is called a role and a profile. Okay, so a role is nothing but the designation, or a role is what sort of a job that one is doing, right? That is the role that you belong to, correct? So you go to Salesforce, each user record will have a role to play, right? And I'll go to the user record. and you take any of the users. For example, I will take the example of Magalam Suresh thing here. I don't want, where is the system administrator? Yeah, this one, if I take, this is the user. Now, if you take a look at it, there is something called Eastern Sales Team. So a role is the type of job that what you are doing, and even though it shows it as mandatory here, please remember that role is not mandatory for a user. You can create, we will see that, you can create a user without a role. So the role example is here, you can be a customer support role, you can be a COO, you can be a CEO, CFO, SVP, anything. That is what is known as a role. What is a profile? A profile is a very important thing that it plays. A profile is the one that basically defines what sort of security settings that you have. What is that what you can do with the objects? Lot of things that are associated with a profile. A profile defines not only the security settings, but also access to the database tables. Okay. And a profile is a mandatory thing for a particular user. Any user in the system cannot exist without having a profile. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Do you want me to repeat it again?
No, sir.
So I'm just clicking on different profile, different users. Here, if you take a look at it, this is the demo manager used the user, and he belongs to custom sales profile. So very important thing to understand. What does the profile? Profile not only defines your security settings, it defines a lot of things. It defines what sort of table access that you have. So remember, a profile defines the table access, the object access. A role defines the record level access. Can you all make a note of this, please? I will keep asking this question again and again. A profile defines object level access. A role will define the record level access. So if you go to the profiles, we just saw customer system administrator. That is by default you will have. You click on system administrator profile, you take a look at it, you cannot be able to delete it. System administrator profile cannot be deleted. Now, if you take a look at it, there are many sections. This is one of the longest page that you will have in Salesforce, right? You can take a look at it. So it keeps scrolling. Now, what does it contain? Important things it contains. It shows, that profile shows the page layouts. What are all the page layouts that this profile has got the access to, right? Whether standard objects, view assignment, what are all the page layouts that it has the access to? That's what it defines, correct? Now, custom object, it shows view assignment. We will play with it a little bit later. Then it will tell you field level security. On each of the objects, if you click on, let's come from here. So let's go to the standard page layout objects and account layout, view assignment. If you go and take a look at the view assignment, it will tell you that this profile, whatever is the profile, what you are defining, it has got the access to the account page layout. It has got the access to, right? There is another layout called account sales layout. We will talk about this later, right? So what you need to remember is a profile defines what is the access that you have for a particular layout, right? And also it defines custom objects. These are all the different custom objects. What sort of access that you have to the custom object, right? And then system administrator will have access to all the objects, all the page layouts, everything. That's what you have to remember. Now, field level security. So now if you go to that one, it will also define, profile will define on the account object, whether you can be able to, these are all the different fields here, what you see here. On the leftmost, whether you have the read access or the edit access. What does that mean? You can be able to read it, you can be able to edit it. That means it is available on the page. You can edit it. I'm not going to save it. Now, if you want to take it out, for example, account number, I don't want the read access. Take a look at it. If you don't have the read access, edit access will automatically go away. If you click on the edit access, it will come automatically. If you take out the edit access, what does it mean? You can only be able to see, but you cannot be able to edit it. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right? So it shows, your profile shows the field level access also. Back to the profile. Okay, so we saw it defines, it controls the page layouts. It controls the custom object page layouts. It controls the field level security. And there are many things, don't worry. And the tab settings, whether, for example, we had the option of the, which one is that training? Techila training new, right? Techila training new.
Yes.
If you take a look at it, Techila training new, I'm going to search for it. Techila training default is on. If I make it tab hidden, I'm just going to make it tab hidden. Let us see what happens. For the system administrator, I'm making it off. I'm coming to the sales. I think for system administrator, it might still show. So it is gone. It does not show. Right? If I come back here, edit it, and I come back here, I will say default on. And save it. I'm refreshing the page. I might have to log out and log back in. I'm going to the app launcher, sales. It comes back. So your profile controls whether the tab is visible or not visible. Okay. So going back to the profile. Another important thing that it controls is objects. Now, if you keep scrolling down, it will show you which are all the objects. These are all the standard object permission. So profile, very important thing. Please remember, it controls not only certain security things, the most important thing that you will be playing and you will be doing the customization is on the objects. Profile controls the object level access. Role controls the record level access. Records are available within the object, correct? Agreed? Records are there within the object, correct?
Yes.
So if you do not have access to the object, can you be able to see the records?
No.
No. So the important thing is, first you should have access to the object. If you have the access to the object, depending upon what sort of access that you have to the object, which is controlled through the profile, then your role will define whether you can be able to see the record or not see the record depending upon the owner. That is where the owner comes into the picture. It becomes a little bit more complex. Unless and otherwise you play with it, you cannot be able to understand. It takes a lot of time. It takes, even for an experienced person, it will take at least 6 months to understand the complete thing, correct? To be comfortable with. So please remember, profile controls the object level access, role controls the record level access. Now, what are the accesses that you have? Read. That means you can be able to read the object. You can be able to create the records in the object. You can be able to create the records in the object. You can be able to edit the records in the object, right? Even though I say object, it is coming down to the record. You can be able to edit. If you do not have edit option on the object, and even if you are able to see the record because of your role, you still cannot be able to edit it because you don't have the edit option. So you can be able to read the object. Read the object means read the records. Create the object means you can be able to create the records in that object. You can be able to edit the records in the object on that object. You can be able to delete. View all and modify all. Normally you don't give it to anybody. What it means is view all will override everything and you can be able to do all these functions for that profile. Modify all is you can be able to, it override everything and you can be able to create, edit, delete everything. View all is read. Modify all is you can do, it's a data administrator, you can be able to modify everything, right? So it's very important thing to remember that you don't give view all and modify all to any of the profiles unless otherwise it is required. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So please remember what we covered today. We covered how to create an object and what is a role, what is the owner. And then we saw what is a profile, and we saw profile controls many security things, especially the database level access. Role controls the record level access, which we have not seen. We will come to that later. And we spoke about what are all the options that you have on the object, like read, create, edit, delete, and all that stuff. Okay. Yeah. Manu, you can stop it for now.